Go. Yeah, it gets a little bit weird because Restream doesn't have a mobile app. So you got to do things through the browser. Oh my. Hold on, let me get up here. I want to show you all this view. It's always great in the morning when the sun's coming up on the mountains. It is cold today. Very cold. 37 degrees when I woke up. The rain came in, cooled everything down, and now the wind is here, making it all cold. My hands are cold. I should have brought some gloves. Well, the school buses are out, taking the kids to school. Oh, man. Can't beat the mountain views. That's for sure. Hopefully, I'll have a special guest. Look at that. Those mountains look great. That's all Joshua Tree Park. Yeah, they look so cool in the morning when the what's it the sun is hitting them at the right angles. Man. A rug someone threw out in the desert. I use those because we do archery at my house. And old rugs, I know a lot of people have said, oh, use sandbags. Sandbags, the arrows will go through them. Same thing with straw bales. Arrows will go through them. So, and you don't want something that's going to break the arrow. So I will put some thin wood, but if you take a carpet or an old rug and, you know, throw it over it, like to where there's a couple inches between the two, that will slow down the speed of the arrow significantly. But I'll admit, when it comes to archery, I'm still a noob. I'm using a recurve bow. I'm not one of the experts at using a bow yet, but we have fun with it. So yeah, people are interested. I'll do some archery videos as I learn archery. But we just set up a little thing at our house. I actually found over at Tractor Supply, instead of using hay bales, which were super expensive, for like $6, I got some horse bedding material, which were like a wood chip type thing. And we were able to get several of those, and we stack them up, and I'll put some like thin boards that I have that were like part of a privacy fence, and then I throw a rug over it, and that works as a really good backstop for the arrows. So, but yeah, I'll have to come over here and grab that old rug because I don't want to pay for them. But you get people that just toss that stuff out here in the desert, so it's my way of cleaning it up and putting it to good use. Whew. That's so yeah, we're getting into archery and dirt bikes. Getting into dirt bikes. I'm gonna buy a ATV here very shortly. I'm already looked at some. I got my eye on some. I just waiting. There's a couple things I want to do with my house first. You know, you got to prioritize your needs before your wants. So uh, I'm sure by late spring I'll have a dirt bike, and you know, that'll be fun. Take more advantage of the desert out here. Get to riding. So I'm walking towards the junkyard, and the closer I get, there's more car parts strewed around because you get people who drive their cars on their last leg. They're trying to go out to the junkyard to get stuff, and they'll shred tires and lose things off their vehicle. I just walked past a part of a fender. They probably had a blowout and it blew up their fender. See, if I wasn't bringing you guys along on these walks, I normally bring a trash bag and just kind of clean up the desert a bit. But it's, you know, for the most part, futile. Uh, I know a lot of people are like, oh, people trash in the desert. There's a lot of people out here that really care about keeping the desert clean. But you'll still get the wind that knocks over trash cans and stuff like that. And that'll cause a mess. These windstorms out here, they're no joke. Uh, at least a couple times a year, we get storms with 40-mile-per-hour gusts. So you get used to it. But that's that's where most of the trash that I've noticed in the desert. I know it's all stuff that someone tried to dispose of properly. We like the desert clean out here. Uh, some cholla cactuses. So let's see if I can. You might be able to see a cholla cactus there over my shoulder. That's the one that's kind of white and really furry looking. For those of you who don't come out here, you don't want to touch those things. They call it the jumping cactus because the prickers on those, oh my God, they're hurt and they stick to you. You just have to barely touch them, and they it's like they jump out of the cactus at you. And let me just say, they hurt. Not good at all. Uh, so yeah, gotta watch out for those cholla cactuses. In fact, in Joshua Tree, there's a place where it's like a whole area of nothing but them, and it's got a walkway for people to go through, and they tell you there's lots of warning signs. Yeah. uh I'm sorry, I can't say your name. My Lexi uh says, okay, definitely not touching those on hikes. Yeah, you do not want to touch them. They have in Joshua Tree, they have a whole bunch of signs. Do not touch the cholla cactuses. Whew, those things they're bad news. I I had some small ones at my last place, and my dog, she would get them because she didn't know to stay away. She would get them in her snout. There's traffic coming across the road. Be safe so that my back's not to them. She'd get them in her snout from sniffing them, and then in her paw from accidentally getting too close to one. And they're small, but she would yipe pulling those things out. And there's no easy way to do it. You just have to grab hold and yank. Because just touching them, just touching them the littlest way, they hurt. I've had them stuck in my shoe. They go all the way through your shoe. So yeah, they're not good things to have. But yeah, they That's one of the things in the desert here you gotta watch out for. Uh, so I've got my walking stick here. So I use this stick when I have back issues, and those come and go. Uh, the stick I normally take with me, not really because I need to use it, but because you get animals out here who they're normally timid, but sometimes will get aggressive. And the one thing I don't like is snakes. So you can have an inanimate object that's in your hand that's long. So if they start kind of coming to you, you can just redirect them another way. You know, they're animals. You know, they get a fight or flight mentality, and you just gotta kind of show them, no, 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 just move away. But I've literally had. I remember when I was living on base 15 years ago. I want to say I had I'd gone on a run. It was about dusk. I should have known better. And I was over near the general's house on 29 Palms. So if you've been there, you kind of know where I'm at. And there was a snake in the road, but I was slowing down because I was at the end of my run and I'd, pushed myself pretty good. And I was slowing down to look. And when I looked down, there was one in between my legs that I had not noticed. But, oh, this is a private drive. Not going to go down it. Thought about taking a walk up there by someone's driveway. Nope, don't want to go on anyone's private property. Only public roads. But yeah, oh, I don't like snakes, so I probably jumped about 5 feet in the air. But they're not. You're bigger than them. They don't want anything to do with you. So it was definitely a sidewinder, but he didn't hiss anything like that at me. He was just as shocked as what I was. So we went our separate ways. I used to get, on average, about 2 Marines every year who would get bitten by snakes. Every year. Didn't matter. Normally in the summertime. And normally out at one of the ranges. Because you get out there, there's nothing but wildlife out there. There's no one out there permanently. You're in their territory. And you want to know what was the, the there were two things that happened with every snake bite. They were always in the hand, and the Marines swore up and down that they weren't screwing with the snake. Never. They wouldn't even dream of such a thing. So apparently, all these snakes had a uh, really high jump radius or jump height, and were able to come up, and they always aimed for those hands. Got something here that looks like. Hold on here. Checking something out. It's a piece of wood. I'm just checking to see if it's a sign. Nope. Nope, just a piece of wood. So yeah, watch out for these snakes out here. These wild snakes. They'll jump up and grab your hand. Working in safety, I used to see all of that stupid stuff. And they think they're being clever. I can't tell you. I was like, Marine, just tell me you were screwing with the snake, just so I can have it for my report. You're not going to get in trouble. No, no, sir. I would never dream of messing with a snake. Mm-hmm. I went to the rifle range one year, sat there, watched two Marines screwing with a snake. I had to go over there. I was like, leave the goddamn snake alone. He's scared of you. He doesn't want any part of what you're doing. And he can hurt you. Dummies. Dumb stuff. But Marines will be Marines. Jesus, that guy's going fast. Whew. So, yeah, it's funny the things you'll see. I used to tell people, you need to treat your Marines like children and treat your children like Marines. You got to break things down for Marines. What we always said, Barney style. Yeah, just explain it like you would to a 5-year-old. And then, if you're smart, you have them repeat it back to you. Napoleon's Corporal. I should probably do a little video about Napoleon's Corporal. I don't know if most people know about that, but it's a pretty ingenious idea. And yesterday, or no, 2 days ago on my walk, we were talking about plagiarism and why that's a good thing in the military. Full bottle of water sitting there. That'll attract bees. That's get a lot of bees out here. Right now it's pretty cold. Next week it's gonna warm up, so the bees will definitely be out. I topped off my hummingbird feeders because the hummingbirds will be out and they'll be hungry. I've got one right outside the window so my cat can sit there and stare at them. He loves watching them. He'll start chittering. Oh, my first cat that I've ever owned, and he is a funny guy, I'll tell you. Someone's electrical thing for their vehicle. Like I said earlier, I'm right near the junkyard, so this gets littered of all the car parts of people who couldn't make it to or from the junkyard. But it is a beautiful day out here. I can't wait till it warms up. I want to go camping. Also want to take my RV and head out to Lake Havasu this spring. That's definitely a fun place to go if you've never gone. When the weather's nice, go. Just know that if you go on a holiday weekend, Memorial Day, 4th of July, anything like that, it is going to be crazy. At certain points, you can literally walk across the lake without getting wet because you can step boat to boat. That's how crazy it is. Definitely a party atmosphere. So if you're not into that, don't go those weekends. But if you go during the week, you want to fish or swim with the family, that's a nice time to go. It's a really nice city. Uh, there's some rough parts here that have come around in the last couple years, but if you stay near the lake, it's really nice. That's where the old London Bridge is. They moved it there. Hey, good morning, Demon Slayer. Who else we got here? Your boy Luffy. Hey, welcome. Glad to have you guys in the stream. It's cold out today. It's probably in the 40s right now as the sun's still trying to warm things up. It won't get warm till about 9:30. It's supposed to be in the 50s today, low 50s. So definitely gonna sit with my heater on at the house. Piece of glass right off the road. Let me get that out of here. It's a Corona bottle. Don't want someone to try to pull off because of an emergency and run over a piece of glass that messes up their tire. In fact, as I say that, there's a blown out tire on the other side of the road. It happens. It happens. That's excuse me. Whew. We're on our way back right now. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Demon Slayer. Uh, anything I can do to improve the channel, let me know. I like giving good content for people. I'm really liking these military leadership lessons that I've been doing because, it's a good way to pass on that knowledge that I've gotten over the years, that others have taught me. And that's your responsibility as a leader, to pass on good stuff. And most of it, I got to start posting it onto LinkedIn, because most of it does apply to the civilian world. And that's one thing the military has a lot of flaws, but one thing that it does do very well, it it's essentially the world's biggest leadership training, because every job that you have in the military is going to funnel you into a leadership position. And you know even even if you fail, there's good lessons that you can learn and take with you when you leave military service. I remember I was talking with a young man who, I thought it was really stupid that the Marine Corps was processing him out, because the reason why is because he had several underage drinking incidents. And he had gotten in trouble. Alcohol was definitely not his friend. He went into treatment, and he turned 21. And they brought him to me because he knew he was getting kicked out, and he was getting concerned about how this would affect him. And uh, I gave him some advice and stuff and talked to him. And the thing is, he had turned 21 at this point. Oh, thank you, Demon Slayer. Uh, yeah, I'd given him some advice, and he asked me. He was on a set board, and he asked if I would be a witness for him, and I told him, yeah, I'd love to. And they asked me what I thought about him, and I said, well, he's a good Marine. Obviously, alcohol is a problem for him, but he's in treatment for it. And I've known a lot of Marines who've had alcohol. Oh, thank you, Aiden. Thank you. Uh, I've known a lot of Marines. Rank didn't matter. A lot of them have had problems with alcohol. I said, at least with him, we're catching it early. And all his charges against him were all underage drinking incidents. And I said, even if he goes back to alcohol, at least we know this is not going to be a repeat, because now he's of age to drink. Well, they didn't keep him around. They were kicking him out, and they were dead set on that, which, that's fine. But I talked to him, and he ended up, he was getting a general discharge, and he was kind of freaking out about it. And I told him, I was like, first off, general discharge is fine because it's under honorable conditions. I go, there's things that you lose, some benefits that you lose because it's not an honorable. I said, but don't panic. I said, as the day you get out, I go, you need to find yourself a veteran service officer, and you need to appeal your uh, your discharge. And I said, because once the VA has your record, they get so many appeals, they don't fight it. They'll just upgrade you one. Now, if you're trying to go more than one, that's when you should have an attorney and be ready to fight. And he appealed, and sure enough, he got his honorable discharge just from that appeal. And I told him, I said, there you go. I go, you got your honorable discharge, which means you can get your VA claims and your GI Bill and all that stuff, your VA home loan. And he was like, well, I'm having problems finding a job. And I said, look, just go to other vet. And he's like, well, should I know about getting discharged? I go, Yeah, you can if you want. I go, they're not gonna care. I go, they don't give a shit about underage drinking. I go, what they, what they're gonna know is that you were a Marine and that you served, and yeah, you had drinking incidents. I go, they don't care because that's on your off time. It's not like Marines. You beat up your wife, you get drunk in the civilian world, your employer doesn't give a shit. Rarely ever do they. You know, you're they will if you have a job where that's the thing. But this kid was working in he was going into construction and manufacturing. I'm like, everybody there's got drinking incidents. I go, they probably even have, you know, arrests for drugs, for weed and stuff. I go, they're gonna look at you like, oh my God, this is a guy who shows up on time and who's, you know, respectful. I don't care that he drinks in his spare time. I don't care, you know, what he does. So he felt a lot better after that, and I've done some follow-ups with the young man. He's doing well. But I wish, you know, the military tries to scare people. And what I was trying to tell them about that board, they were trying to do the same thing. And I told them, look, you're dealing with career Marines. A lot of these guys came in when they were 18. They've been in, you know, I think it was majority senior enlisted and chief warrant officers. I go, these guys have been in 15, 20, 20 plus years. I go, they don't know the civilian world. They're just guessing. I go, they have no clue. And they'll learn how hard it is out there, you know, when they become a veteran, unless if they set themselves up with a job with a defense contractor or a government service and walk right into that. I go, I can't tell you how many veterans I've had reach out to me that they're struggling, you know, to get a civilian job or keep a civilian job. Uh, and good people too, good leaders. But, you know, civilian world is different than the military. There's different priorities and you have to adjust to it. But when you realize there are things that they care about and things that they don't care about, it becomes easier. Well, I'm back here now. That is the end of my walk. But I thank you all for joining me. If you're on YouTube, check out the military leadership video I did this morning. It's in the shorts. And you know, if you could like, subscribe, give a comment, because that helps the channel. If you're on Twitter, retweet this for me. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or constructive criticism, or even just want to tell me I'm a POS, leave those comments. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.